I'm going down to the Greyhound station, gonna buy a ticket to ride. I'm gonna find that lady with 2 or 3 kids and sit down by her side. A ride till the sun comes up and down round about 2 or 3 times. Smoking cigarettes in the last seat, sing the song for the people to meet and get along with it all. Where the people say y'all, I sing a song with a friend, change the shape that I'm in, and get back in the game and start playing again. I'd like to stay, but I might have to go to start over again. I might go back down to Texas or go to somewhere that I've never been.
That first night I went to the old Greyhound station. They were just about to close it, and I, just gonna be blunt, I cried myself to sleep. And I was like, how can this happen? I had no job, no money, no source of income, didn't know anything around here, and I bumped into this guy, and he said, wow, brother, you are so young to be homeless. And I told him my story, and he fed me cigarettes and gave me something to eat, and he consoled me and said, brother, everything's gonna be okay, man. You just stick by me the first year, and I'm gonna help you get through this, brother. I'll show you everything, what I do, and just follow my lead, sign what you need to sign. And that's when I got on to the United Caring Shelter, and I signed my name for the first time. I saw my brother in there because, man, I'm finally, I'm finally doing the father thing. I'm finally becoming a man. I'm finally breaking out of my shell. I'm finally trying to make it work. And no matter how hard I try to make it work, it seems like, well, maybe there's that small glimpse of hope that maybe I will be okay. Maybe this isn't as bad as it seems, and it's just another bump in the road, and, I get to fly a sign, and that's dangerous because the cops shun on that. And I've also gotten a warning that if I do it again, they will arrest me. So I tend not to fly a sign too much anymore. But then there's always that chance that you're just so hungry. And I'm not proud, but I mean, you do what you can. That's right. Homelessness is not a disease. I mean, it is a problem. And if maybe more people were aware about it, that maybe we could all just, learn from each other's experience. Like, if you could turn one of these abandoned houses into another homeless shelter maybe, or just a Section 8 housing or whatever, we would highly appreciate it. And when I say we, homeless people in general, because I don't know how many conversations me and my buddies have had underneath that bridge. What if they turn the McCurdy place into like the Section 8 housing and just fill it up? That's like 500 rooms. That's 500 homeless people off the street, That would just be, we'd all be ecstatic. Where I sleep at, and I walk over to the Salvation Army and I get a cup of coffee to just wash my fingernails, wash under, just try to be presentable for the day. I may not have had a shower for 2 days, but I try, I clean out my fingernails and what have you. So after coffee, I try to find some place where I can get something to eat. Now, they have cakes and stuff, and that's cool and kosher, and I totally am thankful for that. But I just need, a little more, something. So if I'm not kicked out of United Caring, or if I'm not kicked out of the Evansville Rescue Mission, because there's only 2 homeless stations where a man can, rest his head at night. That goes back to what I was saying. If we'd all just, as cliche as it is, just get along, and I mean, it doesn't always have to be chaos and anarchy. If more people cared about people and less about themselves, this world would be a better place.
depending on what kind of night it was. If it was going to be a cold night or a rainy night, you'd have to find some place like underneath a tree or underneath a shelter. Just like today where it's hot and sunny. Just lay out a mat and lay them down where you want to. And when I was having marital problems with my second ex-wife, she ended up throwing me out of the house basically, and I left. And moved into an apartment. Didn't last long because it was my mom's and she died. They threw me out because I couldn't afford the apartment. And then I lost my job. And it just,
how did that feel?
a little scary, but just I knew some guys that were homeless and they sort of guided me through some things, what I need to do. And try to get in organizations like Aurora or the Salvation Army's helped quite a bit too. The two companies right there probably saved my life.
First meal?
Yeah. The biggest thing, probably the biggest headache I had was I was on medication. I still am. And it's getting the money to get my medications. Well, the ECHO helped a little bit, but you know, they can only provide certain types of medicine, and you have to come up with $7 for each prescribed medicine. And when you don't got no income, you end up panhandling or stealing. And I ended up panhandling, I wasn't going to steal.
They were looking at you?
They sort of shunned you, try to stay away because they're afraid they're going to become homeless too, or just like getting divorced. You know, your friends are married people, and then suddenly you get divorced, they're not your friends anymore because they're afraid that disease is going to happen to them. But about the biggest thing that bothered me most was saying, I'm sorry to hear that you're living on the streets. You know, I wasn't asking for any kind of help, I was just letting them know where I was and to pray for me. Well, of course I'm not shaved today, but usually I don't shave during the week. But they look at you with clothes you wear. And I don't wear real ratty clothes, but I don't wear the best either. They look at you how you dress, how you smell. You can't take a bath every day here.
Right.
Today you can, you go swimming in the lake, but you get in trouble swimming in the lake. But I was praying I never have to go through this again. Now I'm to it because it hasn't happened. Once I'm sleeping in that bed, sleeping in with a roof over my head, knowing it's mine, no one can take it away from me unless I don't pay the rent. I've had my whole life taken away from me. My truck had an accident. It was taken away from me. I had a computer. I had to hawk it so I could have some money. I had golf clubs. Used to play golf all the time. Can't play golf anymore. Don't got no golf clubs. You know, everybody's got a sad story, but it's just... Garden Park's a big place, but when you're sitting there just laying there and nothing going on around you, just no one to talk to. No one wants to talk to you because you don't got nothing for them. You know, they set their opinion against you. People ask me that all the time, where's my kids? They're living their life. I can't drag them down to where I am. I don't want them to have to be the way I am. I want them to be very safe. They get so cold that we don't have room for you today. Well, where am I asleep? So that's your problem, not ours. We're full. Okay, I believe you're full, but what do I do? This is more of a personal type. That we're real people, and we do need help. And I know at times that you might have an extra buck in your pocket, and you might decide to go out to eat. That's cool too, but don't forget your neighbor, the guy down the street that's looking at an empty plate or no bed. It's a sad thing. I'll never forget it the rest of my life.
When a man has got the blues and feels discouraged and has nothing else but trouble all his life, but he's just an honest man like any other, living in a world that's tearing at his mind. If he's sick and tired of life and takes to drinking, do not pass him by, don't greet him with a frown. Do not fail to lend your hand and try to help him. Always lift him up and never knock him down.
Sleep in homeless shelters. You can sleep on park benches, you can sleep in the back of a car, you can stay at friends' houses. You can, I don't know, I think people stay under this bridge down the street. Right under there, there's people that just, I don't know how they live there. They just live underneath the bridge and they live up and down on that trail. And that's where they live and go in and out of the homeless shelter. They sleep on a rock out there, cardboard. I thought that was bad. I just hope that wouldn't, get that desperate to have to, sleep like that on the ground. I guess on somebody's floor where you're just sleeping on the floor like you're a dog, like you're an animal. You just stay at somebody's house and really have to fear for your life sometimes. Watch out where you hang around because you can't really hang around the wrong places. So it's really, I don't know, I really can't explain what the scariest things that I seen, but I just have to, just stay in the areas when I was a child. Just the joblessness causes homelessness, and if there's a day-to-day work factory or day-to-day work where people could just work, then I guess it would just help homelessness. And I guess there's like I don't know, people got their minds made up of exactly how people have to live and what people have to do and how people have to work. And I guess if you're retarded and not up to standards to be able to fill out the computer and work and be a perfect person for somebody, I guess you have to die. Or I guess a lack of money. Homelessness is lack of money. You don't run out of money, you don't end up homeless, you can stay in a hotel. I used to live in my car, so I guess years and years and years, I don't know, I couldn't live in St. Louis. When I lived in St. Louis, I just lived in the backseat of my car and worked for car lots and restaurants, and so I guess I consider that homeless, living in the backseat of my car. Joblessness is homelessness, and I don't mean to keep repeating myself, but I've moved around the country a little bit. There's places that have on-the-spot jobs where anybody can work, where you just go there and it says on the sign 8 o'clock in the morning, they just line people up and they put them all to work. You can work 1 day a week or you can work 7 days a week, and if somebody can just find a way to work to get money, then they can make it a little bit. Then you move from one job to a better job to a better job. And I guess there's people that can't work and there's people with health problems, and I'm sorry for them because I feel that if you can't work, I guess you got to be dead now in our society. And I guess the food stamp card, they'll give you a food stamp card for $200, so you ain't never got to starve. But you can't get the food stamp card unless you have a legitimate address. And if you ain't got a legitimate address, you have to go to the homeless shelter to get the legitimate address. It's hard to get into homeless shelter because there's a waiting list. So maybe I guess your attitude and your state of well-being, I guess you get not real unhappy, but just I guess not having money affects you by not having money. You ain't happy if you can't go out and eat a Big Mac, and you ain't happy if you can't go out and have a soda, and if you can't sit in a bar and drink a cold beer and watch football, then that really goes on an unhappy scale if you can't afford a new baseball hat when it's baseball season, or if you can't afford a ticket to go see the Iceman play a couple times.
If he stays out late at night because he's troubled, or because his home is not what it should be, have a smile for him wherever you might meet him. It will help him find the right way, don't you see? If he gambles when he's in the town or city, tell him what he ought to do to win the round. Do not fail to lend your hand and show him pity. Always lift him up and never knock him down. If he has no friends and everything's against him, if he's failed in everything that he has tried, try to lift this load and help him bear his burden. Let him know that you are walking by his side. If he feels that all is lost and he has fallen, help to place this poor man's feet on solid ground. And when this world has turned its back against it, always lift him up and never knock him down.